how to get out of your bad moods. That's what I'm going to be sharing on this video today. Welcome back to another video. My name is Dom and I help people to step into their truth and power. Now, some of you know it doesn't take much for you to fall into a bad mood. And for others, it takes quite a bit more to get you there. But regardless, when we're there, does it ever really feel good? I don't know about you, but for me, it's never felt good. And there were times where it wasn't just a fleeting part of the day for an hour or so, but the mood went on all day. And it's worse when that mood turns into a funk that lasts days or even weeks. Can you relate to this? Type I can in the comments if you can relate to this. Type I can. I believe that most of us can relate to this. Whether you are a man or a woman, these experiences are part of being a human being. And as a human being, it's actually healthy to allow ourselves to feel our full range of emotions. You see, Albert Einstein actually said everything in the world is energy. I'm energy, you're energy, the table over here is energy, this camera is energy, but also our emotions are energy. You see, the word emotion actually stands for energy in motion, emotion. And an emotion itself is a certain kind of energy. It's actually a reflection of the feelings that are going on within, inside of us, such as happiness or love or anger or fear. Emotion is that part of a person's character that consists of their feelings as opposed to their thoughts. So if we're seeking to be the best human being as possible, we must become aware and responsible for the emotions that are happening within our being. It's very, very difficult to experience any level of success or happiness in life if we are emotionally bankrupt with little to no feelings, or if you're emotionally unstable and just all over the place in your emotions. We must become more emotionally intelligent about ourselves. And today's discussion is about increasing our emotional intelligence. So to increase our emotional intelligence, we have to begin developing an awareness of where we are now and where we would like to be. And so no matter where we are, our emotions are resonating at a certain level at all times. This is referred to as resonance. And I briefly spoke about this on a video the other day. That resonance is actually responsible for attracting more of what we're experiencing in any given moment. Some of you refer to this as the law of sowing and reaping or the law of attraction. Well, more often than not, when the law of sowing and reaping feels like a lot of sowing and not much reaping, or the law of attraction doesn't seem to be attracting, it's usually because our resonance is not at a level that is necessary to create the reality you want to experience. And so I love using pictures because a picture can tell a really big story. And so I drew this picture on the whiteboard, which shows the 7 levels of energetic consciousness. There are many depictions of this out there online that you can look up. One of the most popular is the Hawkins scale, which has more levels in detail. But for simplicity and understanding of this conversation, I like using 7 levels because I find that it's more practical to reference, and I find that it just keeps things very simple and memorable. So at the top of the scale is the highest level of consciousness, bliss and enlightenment. Below that, we have joy, then peace, compassion, forgiveness, anger, and at the bottom we have apathy, victimhood. Now, I would like you to take a moment to notice the shape of this illustration. It's kind of in the shape of a funnel. That's no mistake. You see, when we're at the bottom of this funnel, right, things seem to be very closed off. It's like we're in a hole. Whereas when we're at the top, things are very open and wide. There's a world of possibility available. When we're at the bottom in victimhood, we're very focused on me, ourselves. Our world is, why is this happening to me? Because we're so focused on ourselves, everything is everybody else's fault. We take little to no responsibility for anything that is happening to us. Our emotions are generally more dark in feeling, and decisions are usually premised and made from a place of fear, not empowerment. When we're feeling really stuck, we can fall into apathy, and when we get to apathy, we just stop caring. We give up. It's like you've fallen into such a rut that you're just allowing life to run you instead of you running your life. And you just don't care what happens anymore. You don't even care if you're happy or not. Now, above victimhood and apathy, we have anger. Anger pulls people from their victimhood and usually gets them to take some kind of action. Anger isn't necessarily a bad thing. When used for constructive purposes, it can be a powerful self-motivator. Unfortunately, it's not usually the best way to motivate others because it often involves conflict and results in defiance. Anger is very much focused on the self. It's in that me-self energy. Above anger, we have forgiveness. This isn't just about forgiveness of others, but even more, it's about forgiveness of yourself. And I'm not talking about an obligatory kind of forgiveness, but a real true forgiveness, emoting from the place of your heart. When we move into forgiveness is when we begin taking responsibility. And as a result, understanding and cooperation can begin taking place. After forgiveness, we move into compassion. When we feel compassion, we begin moving away from being solely focused on ourselves. And now it's more of a co-awareness of self and others. When we're feeling compassion, we begin showing concern for others, and that results us showing up in service to them. After compassion, we have peace. And with peace, we begin experiencing reconciliation and full acceptance for what is. Above peace, we have joy. When we're in joy, everything just feels awesome. It's like everything is just like it's flowing. When we're loving life, our wisdom becomes much more focused on how we're showing up and impacting the world collectively. There's very little about us in joy. It's about the world, how we're impacting the world collectively. And at the top, we have bliss or enlightenment. When we're living here, we're experiencing absolutely no judgment at all about other things or other people. We are living in our passion, in purpose, and on purpose, and creation comes so much easier. There's so much ease and flow here. It just flows out of your being. One of the most famous people in history, Jesus, was living much of his life from this state of enlightenment when he was able to create miracles and heal people just by touching them. It's an amazing state to experience. I've actually experienced it countless times, and especially these past few years. And so that brings me to the next part of this. In the upper part of this funnel illustration, you'll see that the top part, the experience is very much of an expanding kind of energy. There is an ease and flow to your life when you're in these emotions. It's often referred to as being in the light. We're often experiencing a lot of love for not just ourselves, but for other people. But in the lower part of this chart, it's more of a contracting feeling. It's a contracting experience. There's very little ease and flow here. We're often feeling a lot of resistance to things. We're likely trying to force or push or control things that feel out of our control. It's often referred to as being in the darkness. It's very much based in fear. When we're in this upper part of the chart, we are believing and being. Whereas in the bottom part of the chart, we're much more in a place of disbelief and doing, pushing, controlling. And so I want you to resist labeling these states of consciousness as being good or bad. They're not good or bad. They just are what they are. They each have a pro and a con associated with them, and they are all needed for us to be able to function and grow as a human being. The key that I want you to really get here, that's really important, is that we allow ourselves to feel all of our emotions, and in feeling them, we're able to move through them, but as we move through them, we want to do it more consciously. Most of us right now are not doing this consciously, and so as a result, we're experiencing a lot more conflict and resistance with others, but also within ourselves. Now, most of us know when we're feeling conflict and stress and resistance with other people, but we're not that great at being attuned to when we're feeling conflict and resistance within ourselves. Often, this is because we're ignoring our feelings or we shove them down. We take on habits to allow us to forget about them. Well, here is what happens when we do that. Remember that our emotions are energy in motion within us. And so when we shove our emotions down, that energy has to go somewhere. You're only going to be able to ignore them and shove them down for so long until one of two things happen. You will either explode in anger, saying or doing very destructive things either to yourself or to those around you, or you will get trapped in victimhood, and that energy comes out through your physical being in illness. Heart attacks, digestion issues, cancers, diabetes, even death. From the long-term stress of trying to hold that negative energy within our body and ignoring it, it becomes toxic to our physical beings. And so there's so much more to this than what I'm sharing right now in this video. I'll be sharing more about this topic in tomorrow's video and in subsequent videos this week. And so I'm curious, when you look at these 7 levels, where have you been most of the time in your energy and in your emotions? Are you in a feeling of peace, joy, and enlightenment? Or have you been more in a place of fear, victimhood, and anger? Share in the comments below. Remember, there is no shame here. We've all experienced all of these emotions, and we've all been in victimhood at one point or another over something. The moment we take responsibility for our emotions is the moment our lives begin to change. And that is what I want for you more than anything. You are a powerful human being. I hold that to be true for you because I know it to be true for every single person watching this video right now. Even if you can't see that for yourself right now. I'm going to be talking more about this in tomorrow's video as I shared. So until then, consider paying it forward by simply sharing this video with just one other person who might benefit from watching this. It is my intention to impact as many people as I can in sharing this info right now because this is what the world is needing. There are so many people hurting and they need this information. They're living unconsciously. I want to help people become more conscious around the power that they have within themselves. And so I would appreciate you taking a moment to share this. And of course, I invite you to like this video and to subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be sharing a lot more of videos like this in the coming days and weeks. So until I connect with you again for my next video, stay well, stay healthy, and stay empowered.